Let's take a look at these contradicting verses in the Bible. Samuel narrates the story of how King Saul died in the Bible. He said in 1 Samuel chapter 31 verse 1, and I quote, "The Philistines fought a battle against the Israelites on the Mount of Gilboa. Many Israelites were killed there, and the rest of them, including King Saul and his sons, fled." Verse 2, the Philistines caught up with them and killed 3 of Saul's sons, Jonathan, Abinab, and Malchishua. Verse 3, the fight was heavy around Saul, and he himself was hit by enemy arrows and badly wounded. Verse 4, he said to the young man carrying his weapons, "Draw your sword and kill me so that these godless Philistines won't gloat over me and kill me." But the young man was too terrified to do it, so Saul took his own sword and threw himself on it. Verse 5, the young man saw that Saul was dead, so he too threw himself on his own sword and died with Saul. This chapter made us understand that Saul killed himself with his own sword, and the man that was with him also killed himself with his own sword. Now let's look at 2 Samuel chapter 1 verse 2 to 10. Verse 2, the next day a young man arrived from Saul's camp. To show his grief, he had torn his cloths and put dirt on his head. He went to David and bowed to the ground in respect. Now if you read from verse 3 to 5, you will see that David asked the man where he came from, and the man told David that he has escaped from Israelites' camp and Saul and his son Jonathan are dead. Then David asked him how he knew about that. Verse 6 to 10, he answered, I happened to be on Mount Gilboa, and I saw that Saul was leaning on his spear and that the chariots and cavalry of the enemy were closing on him. Then he turned around, saw me, and called to me. I answered, yes, sir. He asked who I was, and I told him that I was an Amalekite. Then he said, come here and kill me. I have been badly wounded, and I am about to die. So I went up to him and killed him because I knew that he would die anyway as soon as he fell. Then I took the crown from his head and the bracelet from his arm, and I have brought them to you, sir. Now I'm confused because I can't really tell how Saul died. Was Samuel drunk when writing this story? Because how can a particular person with his right senses narrates a particular story in different ways? In one account, he says Saul killed himself with his own sword, and the man who was with him killed himself also. On the other account, he says Saul told a man he saw on Mount Gilboa to kill him, and the man did it, then reported the incident to David. So it clearly shows here that Saul died in 2 different ways. And Christians will open their mouth to tell me that the Bible was inspired by God. That's bullshit. Even a novel or book written and inspired by man is more accurate, errorless, and more understanding than the Bible, which was inspired by a God. My name is Peter Poland, and I stand against religion and every other false beliefs in this world.